Hey there, I just wanted to quickly make this video to show how I can speed run recreating this State Affairs newsletter. I was kind of looking at it and realized that it's really word heavy, and I suspect that the team writes it in Google Docs, or at least that's how I would do it, and then pastes it into their email service provider like MailChimp. I'm not sure what they use. And I wanted to recreate this in Newsletter Glue because I thought that it would be interesting to show how Newsletter Glue benefits from being in the WordPress editor, because there's this really cool little copy and paste trick that you can use from Google Docs into WordPress, which you can't do if you're copying from Google Docs into any other email service provider. So I'm going to get started with the speed run. Let's see how I go. So we're going to start off in, this is just our demo site, and you can see templates and styles. So I've already tried to create a draft over here. So let's head over here to edit. Okay, so as you can see, I've kind of started off already. Actually, I'm just going to delete everything and go again. So first thing I'm going to do is add a container. That container will make it full width and change the background color to white. And the reason why I wanted to do it this way is because you can see with State Affairs, they've got like different boxes. So like each section is a different box. So rather than have the whole column be white, I wanted to make the whole column be this gray, and then we have the different boxes in white. Okay, so I'm just gonna duplicate a whole bunch of these white boxes because that's what State Affairs has, a whole bunch of these white boxes. Also gonna copy and paste in these headings. So another nice thing about the WordPress editor, which Newsletter Glue benefits from, is you've got like simple markdown shortcuts like double hashtags for an H2. Oops. Cool. All right, so I'm happy with that. Let's go back to the top. I'm assuming this one changes, but for this demo, we'll just keep it with this. Okay, cool. So then we need to replicate this top part. So we'll start with our metadata block. Turn off this, turn off this, turn off this. And this looks pretty close already just out of the box. We can change the date format, so let's do that. Perfect. Save draft. Another cool thing is we can just kind of copy and paste in this image and just kind of paste there immediately. Obviously, if you're doing it properly, you would want to, actually insert it in the media library, but for our purposes, I think this is fine. And then they've got a big Georgia at the top because this is State Affairs and they do cover a whole bunch of different regions or states or cities. Cool. I think this is pretty close already. Okay, so because this is a template, we're not going to actually fill in the text. So what I'm going to do now is scroll to the bottom and add the add. So let me just see that again. Cool. Okay, so I want to add a columns block. So we have our own columns block just because email is tricky and the default WordPress core columns blocks aren't really email HTML ready. So we made our own. Okay, It's about like 30, so it's not really 50-50 like what I chose. Let's do 60-40, 40-60. There we go. And again, we're just gonna copy this image and paste it in. Nice. I'm pretty happy with that. Okay, let's just be a tiny bit picky and do 30-70 instead. I think that looks more like it. Okay. And now this bit. So this is actually two containers, one that's blue. So I'm not gonna spend too much time trying to find the exact blue. Let's just kind of use this one with our social embeds. So we've got a social follow block. We have description text if you want, but you can just turn that off, which in their case they don't have it. And it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So let's do Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, I think, and Instagram. There we go. And cool. Now let's make the icon size a little bit bigger and align it to the center. Cool. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Let's remove the padding. Okay, that would be a little bit too much. So one of the things that we have is the ability to preview the email in browser. So this lets you see what it actually looks like. So it is pretty centered already, so I'm just going to leave that alone. Okay, so do I want to? Okay, just reduce this by a bit more. Save draft. Preview again. Yeah, I think it looks a bit smaller now. Just remove it. Okay, so much for speedrunning, huh? Okay. So again, like this looks slightly different from what the actual version looks like. So you want to preview the email in browser so that you can see what it looks like, which I think it looks pretty close now. Yeah, it's enough. I'm not... Okay, I'll fiddle with it one more time. All right, now I'm not going to touch it. Great. Okay, and so obviously if you were doing it properly, you would just add the URL over here. But in our case, we are speedrunning, so we are not going to bother with that. So you notice that I kind of played with all the margins and paddings really quickly. So the next thing is that this section is actually directly on top of this section. There's no spacing, so I want to do that as well. So gone. And we have to do this to this one too. Actually, let's just check. Yeah, okay, cool. The spacing. Why is the spacing? Right. Let's do 10. So 10 here. Oops. 10, 10, 10. I wish I had caught this earlier, then I could have just replicated the 10s and not have to manually add every single 10. Okay, preview again. Awesome, so now we've got the little spaces. Oops, I've missed one around the web. Let's add 10 here as well. Awesome. Okay. So in this case, we don't want the 10, so we've removed it. Great. And it's not there for this one either. Then it's this, which we can just copy really quickly. And it's a different color as well. It's kind of like a beige color. So let's find cool. Maybe there we go. And then we want to have 2 columns, so let's do that. Okay, I can't need to fiddle this, but it's just hard not to. Okay. So again, we're going to make our columns block 50-50 this time. Let's copy in this part. Paste it in. Copy in this part. Paste it in. And here. Okay, cool. Great. So save draft, go back to our preview, refresh. Let's see how it looks. Great, I think that looks pretty good. We have an issue here with the padding, so let's go and fix that. Let's do 10 on both sides. Awesome. Okay, maybe we don't want 10 on this side. Okay. And these can just be added at the bottom. Let's make them really small. And center line. Great. Okay, so we've done most of the stuff. The final thing we're going to do is save draft and go to template style. So I want to change the link color to red because that's the color that they have. Great. Okay, and I know these are black over here, but we don't have time for me to keep fiddling, so I'm just not gonna do it. Okay, cool. So happy with how that looks. We can also send ourselves a test email to see how that looks, but I'm happy with just kind of playing with it in the browser. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna publish and let's use our template. So let's head back to newsletters, and now this time we'll go to emails. And we're gonna select template. And we're gonna look for our template. Here we go, state affairs, so let's click on that. Okay, so this is, as a writer, I'm logging in for the day and I'm writing my email. So, let's assume that I've already written it in Google Docs. Now what I want to do is copy and paste it into WordPress. So if you were doing this in an email service provider and an email builder, like MailChimp, ActiveCampaign, Campaign Monitor, you would have to copy and paste and then repaste every single link. I think they're using Campaign Monitor. So you have to repaste every single link, which would be really painful. But in our case, because we're just using WordPress, WordPress comes with a really nifty way of doing things, which is you can just copy the text you want. And then, oops, missed something, have we? Oh, that goes into the top, okay. So we copy the text that we want, and then we just paste it in, and you'll see that all the links are already built. So there isn't any, you don't have to repaste any of the links or rebuild any of the links, they're just there. Likewise, all of the, if this is an H2, which it is, so if this is an H2, you can actually copy and the H2 will be copied as well. So what I mean by that is, let's copy. Let's go back over here and then we paste it in. And you can see that the heading follows the hierarchy given in Google Docs. So again, you don't have to rebuild anything. Everything is just as is. So let's paste everything else. So you can see how if you were doing this every day, it would be so much faster than if you had to do all of this and then manually go and paste in these links all over again. That would be so much worse. So this way, much faster. Great, and we are done. Let's see if I missed anything else. No, okay, cool. So that's today's newsletter, save draft. So you want to go to the subject line, which is what you need to know now that school's in session. Make the same subject line. I'm not sure if I can see the preview text from here, so I'll just not have one. Test preview text. And then, like always, you select your audience segment, which, you know, ordinarily you would be doing it inside of MailChimp or whatever email service provider you're using. In this case, we just do it inside of WordPress. Save draft one more time. You can send yourself a test email. Make sure everything looks correct. And if you're happy with how that looks, in my case, I'm happy. I'm gonna toggle on send as newsletter and then go ahead and publish. And you're done. So your email newsletter is on its way. You send it out. The whole thing took way shorter than it would have if you had built it from scratch and had to recreate all of these URLs inside of your email service provider. Okay, and our email just came through. As you can see, it's pretty damn close to the original. Hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think.